For math today, we are going to work on time to the nearest hour using word problems that are tied to our weekly article on Stress Awareness Month. Before we get started, we're going to read our directions. The directions say to read the question, then we're going to find the answer, and last, we're going to place the time on the clock. This is the clock over here. So we'll start with our first word problem. This afternoon, a school counselor talked to my class about stress. What time did the school counselor start talking about stress? Next to it, we see a clock. The clock has the numbers 1 through 12 all the way around the outside of it. It has a short hand, which is called the hour hand, which is pointing to the number 2. And it has a long hand, which is the minute hand, and it's pointing to the number 12. This type of clock is called an analog clock. It's just like the one that we have in our classroom. For this, the hour hand, which is our shorthand, is pointing to the number 2. That indicates that it's 2 o'clock. The long minute hand is pointing right at the 12. That tells us that we're 0 minutes past 2 o'clock. So when we look, it should have the number 2, and then it's going to have a colon. This is what a colon looks like right here. And then it's going to have 2 zeros. So we'll look at our first choice. It is a 5 and 2 zeros. We would read this as 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock is not what we're looking for to answer our question. We're looking for 2 o'clock. So we'll go on to our next choice. Our next choice has a 2 in the hour spot with 0 minutes. This is read 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock is what we're looking for. So we're going to click on that to show our answer. So we found the answer. Now we need to put it on the clock. When we do this, it's going to zoom out so that we can pick the number 2 because we want our answer to look exactly the same here that it does here. So let's click. And we know that we need the number 2 to be in the hour slot. So let's look. Here's the number 2, 1, 2. We're going to click and put it in. Now, it's outlined in green, so we know that that's the correct answer. Good job. Now we're ready for our next question. So we're going to scroll up to our next question. This afternoon, I did homework. What time did I start doing homework? Okay, so we're going to go to our analog clock. This is my minute hand. It's pointing at the 12, which tells me that I'm going to have 0 minutes past the hour. But now I need to look at my hour hand to see what should go in the hour spot. So here's my hour hand, and it is pointing at the 4. So this afternoon, I started doing my homework at 4 o'clock. So I have a 4 in the hour spot for this choice and 0 minutes. So this is probably what I'm looking for, but I'm going to look at both choices before I start. This one is a 1 in the hour spot. A 1 in the hour spot is not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for 1 o'clock. I'm looking for 4 o'clock. So I'm going to click this, and it's going to become green to show that that is the correct answer. So I now need to make my answer match my clock. So the number that I have to put here is going to be 4 because I need these to be the same. So we're going to zoom out and find the number 4. 1, 2, 3, and here's 4. So I'm going to put number 4 in, and we'll zoom in and make sure that they match and are the same. Here we go. 4 o'clock and 4 o'clock. PM means that it's the afternoon. So that is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Good job. Okay, let's move on to our next one. This morning in health class, my sister learned about stress. What time did health class start? Okay, so we're going to go to our analog clock and we're going to look. Our minute hand is pointing at the 12, so we know it's going to be an o'clock, which means zeros are going to be where our minutes are. So now we're going to look at our hour. This is our hour hand, and it's pointing right at the 10. It's right at the 10, so we need to find 10 o'clock. The health class started at 10 o'clock in the morning. So let's look at our first choice. Our first choice has an 8 where the hour goes and 2 zeros. Well, the zeros are correct. The 8 is not. This is 8 o'clock. We're looking for 10 o'clock. So let's look at our next choice. Our next choice has a 10 where the hours go and 0 where the minutes go. So we're going to click right on that, and that should light up green because that is 10 o'clock. Now there's something different with the answer that we're going to be looking for. Yesterday, homework was done at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's p.m. The health class took part at 10 o'clock in the morning, so it's no longer p.m., it's a.m. a.m. is what we put to label things that take place in the morning. So we're going to put our 10 a.m. in here. We want this to match, so we're looking for the number 10. Let's zoom out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and here is 10. We're going to click on 10, put it in there. It lit up green. Let's zoom back in and scroll down, and now it matches 10 o'clock and 10 o'clock a.m. because it's in the morning. All right, let's move on to our next one. This morning, I watched an online gym class and did exercises in my living room. What time did the online gym class start? So we're going to look. Our minute hand is at the 12, so we know it's an o'clock. It's 0 minutes past the hour. And then we're going to look at our hour hand, and it's an 8. So the gym class started at 8 o'clock in the morning. So we have two choices here. This has an 8 in the hour, and this has a 9. So we're going to look at both. So we know that it's 8 o'clock that we're looking for. So in the hour spot, we want the 8. Here it is, 8 o'clock. So we're going to click that, and it will become green. And then we're going to look over at our clock so that we can make it match. All right, so in order to do this, we need to find an 8. So we're going to zoom out and put an 8 here. We see the a.m. because it does take place in the morning. We found the word morning. It was right here. All right, so now we're going to zoom out, and we are going to put our 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So our 8 o'clock is there. All right, friends, we have one more left. So we're going to zoom in, and we'll scroll down to the bottom. And we'll read. This afternoon, a teenager did a puzzle to feel less stress. What time did the teenager start doing the puzzle? Okay, so we're going to look at our spot, and we're going to go. We know that it's going to be 0 minutes past the hour because it's right at the 12. So we'll go right across with our hour hand, and there's a 3. So this happened at 3 o'clock. It's in the afternoon, so it's going to be 3 o'clock p.m. So let's look at our choices. This one has a 3 in the hour, and this has a 4. So we're going to go up and find the 3, and we're going to click on it, and it's going to turn green. So once that happens, we're going to look and try to put a 3 right here on our clock. So let's look. We just have to count to 3. 1, 2, and 3. Put the 3 in there, and then we'll just go over our choices. Zoom in real quick and see if everything matches. This is 2 o'clock. And they match. Good job. This one's 4 o'clock. And they match. This one is 10 o'clock. And they all match. This one is 8 o'clock. And they all match. And our last one is 3 o'clock. And they match.